Hello, my name is Andrew, and this is my revised memorial speech on 9/11. When I read the topic of the speech, my first thought of doing a memorial speech would be about the tragedy of 9/11 and how the impact of that event affected us today. 9/11 was one of the biggest natural tragedies in America, and it made a huge impact around us, and that still affects us today. I see in my life many people affected by this, and I noticed how society has changed for the better in America. I realized that many heroes risked their lives during this tragedy and showed tremendous courage in their actions. What really stands out in this bravery that people took on the plane that was going to crash in the Pentagon, but they took the matter into their own hands instead. I was not old enough to remember this event occurring, but I was alive and was told how the people reacted around me. My mom was with me, my sister was sleeping, my dad was at work, and my grandma was watching the news when the horrible event occurred. My mom walked in with me because my grandma called her over. The thought of the first plane hitting the tower was some sort of strange accident, but they knew something was wrong after the second plane hit. Everyone who was paying attention was dumbfounded by what was going on. When my mom heard about the third plane that crashed into the field, my mom felt sad for all of those who lost their lives in the fight against the terrorists, but she was very impressed how they took the matter into their own hands and solved the problem. All of my family was scared for the other families that were working in the large cities at the time. My father was working in Boston at the time, so my mom called him to check on him to see if he was okay. She did that after she found out that the terrorist attack and not an horrible accident. My mom felt guilty as a nurse that she could not go to New York to help the people that were dying. She felt guilty that she was not helping the people in need. She was also angry at the terrorists that they were killing innocent people that did nothing wrong, and felt like the military needed to take action in retaliation of the event. Excuse me. In New York, policemen, firefighters, and EMTs showed up to the scene as soon as the first plane hit the tower. But after the second plane hit, it made the tower collapse on itself with a huge crowd of dust and smoke surrounding the area. That made the working conditions a lot tougher and the air completely toxic to inhale on the ground. That only slowed the people on the scene down, but they kept working through the abysmal conditions. When the tower was falling, reports of the bystanders said it was a hellish fire of Satan that came up from the building, and it was a terrifying sight to see. The dust was like a sandstorm when the tower fell in ground zero. After it, that took 9 months to recover and cleaning to finally clear up all the mess from the tragic event. There was 1.8 million tons of wreckage, but it was reported that in case of such an event, both the police and fire department had some sort of plan with a building catastrophe and if one collapsed in the city, and how to handle that situation. The most tragic and horrifying part of the event is the amount of people who lost their lives in the fatal attack. 9/11 resulted with the largest loss of life by a foreign attack in the American territory, with a death toll of 2,977 people, counting both public servants and the citizens working in the building. Over 6,000 people were injured as a result of the attack. There was a lucky 20 survivors that were pulled out of the rubble, but the last person was reportedly pulled out after a grueling 27 hours after the tower collapsed. Overall, this impacted America greatly, and I think both for the good and bad. That the American people were sad about the losses that happened, but only positive things to come from this increased security from airports and other models of transportation. I feel like this helped tremendously to stop another devastation event like this in the future.